it feels like I'm making headway with thoughts. Always at the back of my awareness is how the thoughts that I often have are, irrelevant at best, and false matrix at worst. And I'm starting to come to a place where I'm making more peace with my thoughts now that they are becoming more who we truly are thoughts. And along those lines, there's been something that keeps telling me to share, because I noticed the majority of my audience are male, and I'm well aware, in addition to the male within me, how the males, literal males surrounding me, how lost in thought that they can be, and understandably so. And me, I include myself in that, they can be. So something that has been telling me to share is I think I may have mentioned it, but right after I merged with truth, and I'll repeat myself a little bit because there might be people that this is the only video they listen to, but when I merged with truth over 40 years ago, one of the very first things I did was reach for some kind of external confirmation, support, resonance of any kind. And I realized after merging with truth that I had been born and raised in I'll call it a Bible thumping family. I didn't realize it because, I just loved them, but I did know that I never, ever wanted to go to church, and I resisted going as much as I possibly could. Got out of it as much as I could, like school. So first thing I reached for was the Bible, and there were only 3 parts that resonated at all. Now, I didn't read the whole Bible for sure, but I scanned it enough to figure out that the only 3 parts that resonated were what I call, true quotes of Jesus's that said, the first one I came across was, "Judge not, lest you be judged." Loving your neighbor as yourself and as your God. I think that, love your neighbor as yourself. The love your God, since we are God, that doesn't quite ring true, but anyway. And the third one was eternal life, when he mentions eternal life. But that still, didn't hit it. And I was because there was so much more to my experience, that expanded on those 3 core truths to it. One, eternal love, was the 3 words that always explained it the most, with succinctness. Anyway, there was one book. This is what I'm getting to with the left brain. There was one book that, only one, that I came across shortly afterwards. I don't know how long, but shortly, within years, a few years, I would say, but maybe a year. I don't know, but that I the only reason I looked at it was because back then I was reaching for near-death experience books, because that was the closest thing I could imagine to being able to find resonance with what I went through. And, yeah, in a real mild way, they resonated, but nothing came close to the full, even approaching the full resonance. But this one book that I came across unexpectedly did, and not at first. The first half of the book is what I call pretty left brain oriented, and I didn't really understand it, and I skimmed over it. But I kept reading because it was close enough to, pique my interest. And when I got to the second half of the book, oh my God, there it was. And not in the way that I experienced it, but in a very unexpected way. It was the author, who was very left brain, and had made quite a big false matrix, big definition of living as a left brain person. He unexpectedly found himself out of his body in the company of, in my awareness, very high frequency beings. You can just tell it's the real thing. It wasn't anybody posing as anybody, because the love, the humility, the lessons they showed him via direct experience, they all fit. They all fit precisely. And I've kept that book. That's the only book. And it's fallen in the bathtub. It's but it's not damaged in to where I can't read parts of it. I haven't read it, parts of it, in a long time, but every so often it comes up. And so it's coming up now in this form, and there's the left brain stuff at the first half of it very much complements the second half of it. I just remember that in a vague way now. Maybe I'll revisit that. I don't know. But well, one thing I wanted to show on camera before I forgot was, at one point, at the point where the author was really starting to get it, one of the higher frequency beings shared a poem with him that I ended up sewing back then, and it's been on my wall, at one wall or another, ever since. So I want to share that. And also, before I share it, I just wanted to, before I forget, say that I don't know how, but the author said that he didn't really understand what he'd been through. I don't know how, because it was so obvious, and he was getting it. So I'm not sure what he meant by that, but one of the things that stuck out in my mind was his saying how his attention to detail and to journaling everything was why he wrote every single thing down that he could remember upon awakening from his dream state while he would encounter these higher frequency beings. And so I'm so thankful that he did, because well, he summed it up by saying, so he goes, I'm not really getting what this means, but he said, for the thirsty traveler out there, maybe it'll be of some help. And this girl was dying of thirst and has been off and on for a long time. But anyway, I'll share this thing now. Oops. Oh boy, I'm not sure if I can. Oh, there it is. Sorry. I hope that comes up clear. Sorry, I keep trying it the wrong way. Oh, for Pete's sake. Let me just do this. Oh, that won't work. I was going to try to reverse the camera angle. Well, bear with me. I think I'm starting to get it there. And I guess you could pause it at the place where it comes out clear. Hopefully that came out clear. Anyway, I can go ahead and read it too. For those who would die, there is life. For those who would dream, there is reality. For those who would hope, there is knowledge. And for those who would grow, there is eternity. And those words I've revisited a lot over the years, and they can mean different things, or just expanded things along the way. But I guess if there's a prayer I say often, it's that one. Not prayer, a knowing. But I'm sure you guys know what I mean. It's this knowingness that keeps growing, and that we all get impatient to know enough, to know enough in our fullness, in our beingness, to ascend. And well, that's why the real peak times of the journey along the way help slow down that impatience and just enjoy the now more. Peak times like this, well, really right alongside of knowing who we are, right alongside that is sharing it with others who I know are receiving it. I know because I'm receiving so much in the sharing. And like everything else, that's becoming one. That's growing into a oneness as well. I just don't know whether to share this next part or not. Well, I'll just stick with the core message thing, not get too off the track. It's been about giving our brains more truth-filled thoughts to think about. And that book, the name of the book is this is just in case it resonates. I don't. Anyway, it's just in case it resonates. You're the boss, if you want to look at it or not. It's called Far Journeys, and the author is Robert Monroe. I tried to, I found videos of him, but it was all what didn't have anything to do with the book, really. Not in the spiritual, real sense, anyway. And as far as I could tell, there wasn't any group that carried on his research. If there was, I probably wouldn't even go there because that gets so watered down. As people try to carry on what the original person was doing. At least that's kind of the general way of things. It's, we know it's all about what's inside of us. That's the bottom line. That's the only way. So, thanks for listening, tuning in, and yeah, oh goody, Carrie just posted a video. I'll go now.